Listen, today we got a show. We're gonna talk about two beasts of the MCs. Back in the day, in the NBA, there used to be a battle between Chicago and Detroit in the 80s, early 90s, and that's what we have today. The Chicago MC, Wasulu Jacko, Lupe Fiasco versus the Detroit Wonder, Royce the 5'9". I saw him live. He looked more like Royce the 5'7" to me. But but he was ridiculous. I think he's been the best MC in the world for part of the last decade, in my opinion, with the level of rhyme and his penmanship. He's been unbelievable. Lupe in the 2000s was great. Different types of rappers. He was more of a conceptual storytelling type of MC, more conscious. Royce was much more of a killer with his bars. But they've been going back and forth. They're friends. They have a podcast together, but they've been talking shit to each other. And it's like they've been trying to lure Lupe into attacking Royce in a battle. How do you guys think that will go? Who will win in the battle? Who's the better MC in your opinion? I think, Ty, I'm going to go with you first, since you're the guy with the immaculate beard.
Man, I'm going with Chi-Town Lou.
And why do you go with Lupe Fiasco?
Yo, Lupe stopped doing the mainstream rap. He stopped putting stuff out. It wasn't because lack of conceptual ideas or nothing like that. Lupe is a genius.
Right.
Both are geniuses. But Lupe just got that edge to me. He was able to play different lanes out there. And he was okay with being inside that lane of the geek or the skateboarder or things of sort, which, as when we saw, a couple months ago, Royce got kind of mad when they labeled him as a geek. You feel me?
Right.
So, Lupe never did. Like, that nigga's at home practicing with swords and shit like that. He's a different breed. And lyrically, I just think he make better music for real.
Better music than Royce. Okay. Jammer One, what do you think, bro? Who's that in the background? Who's got like a angry baby mama yelling?
Not today. Not me.
You hear that? Anybody hear that?
I hear it.
You hear it now? You still hear it now?
No. Oh, that's coming from you.
Can you still hear it?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little. Yeah,
okay, hold one second.
Jam, we're going to get your opinion why Slinkston goes to handle one of his personalities and shit.
All right, well, my opinion is going to be lopsided because I could never get into Lupe Fiasco.
Why come? What's wrong with you?
I don't know, man. He
kind of shocking.
He just didn't pull me in like that. He didn't reel me in. Royce, on the other hand, it was kind of like a slow burn. And Royce, as far as I'm concerned, he's been killing it lately over the past few years. The stuff he did with Premier and like some of the solo albums that he put out. I think he put out one of the best albums last year, actually.
I agree with that.
Yeah, he just been like lyrically, he seemed to have gotten better over the years. Whereas, what have Lupe been doing recently? You know what I mean? Like, has he been putting anything out?
He'll come up with a song or two here and there. I haven't heard much from Lupe. I remember Murals or something, but he's just one of the greatest lyrical geniuses ever. And his vocal tone and delivery almost reminds me a little closer to you. Jam, goddamn.
People always giving me that comparison, Lupe Fiasco comparison, but I could never get into him.
Chuck feels the same way, and he used to irritate me with his opinion of Lupe too. I thought it was like the old man syndrome. Y'all didn't want to give the young king his credit. You know what I'm saying? I see that gray growing in your beard, so maybe you're just a half a generation removed from understanding.
Nah,
you just want us to get off your lawn.
What it was is I think he came out with some really strong tracks, like Kick Push and the joint that he did with Pharrell about the robot. I can't remember what the song was about, but they was on his first album, and I thought that he came out pretty strong with those. And I was impressed early on, but after a while, it just didn't. It couldn't keep me.
So what do you make of this? That this is something that you actually proposed to me before, that you wanted to speak on. I know these are two MCs that you hold in high regard. Who do you think is the better MC, the better artist, the better songwriter? Who would win in a battle if they were to go head to head?
This is a tough one. This is a really tough one. I think that they're so different stylistically that it's such an interesting comparison. If you had asked me this question several years back, I would say Lupe. I was always really big on Lupe's brilliance, especially coming out the gate. And so I've definitely, been a fan of his and thought he was pretty amazing. And I've loved Royce since day one, since Boom dropped, all the way back, Bad Meets Evil first track and all of that. So I think it's really close, but it's also really a bit of a weird comparison. It's interesting. It's kind of like being like, who's better, Scottie Pippen or Keed Wallace? Like, it's a really weird style matchup. They both do different things great in different ways for different reasons. But as dope as I think Lupe has been and still is, right now, this particular moment in Earth time, I would have to give it to Royce because of what he has done recently. He's always been dope, but then at a certain point, he kind of like Super Saiyan'd up a bit. Like he grew the tail and his hair changed because when he dropped those last couple albums, even outside of the Prime stuff with Premier, like his last couple of solo efforts have been his best, in my opinion. And I think he used to always get the stigma of kind of being like Eminem's Robin in a way when he was better than that. And then even on those joints with him and Eminem together, he would be battling to, keep up. And he'd be keeping up. And I feel like at a certain point, he kind of eclipsed Eminem in some ways recently. And really pushed his level even higher.
On the you talk about the Bad Meets Evil album?
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty even.
I thought it was pretty even, but I feel like then a few years after that, as he began to progress even more, I feel like he pushed a little bit past that level. So I think Royce has always been dope and recently has pushed himself even further than his own level. I feel like Lupe has always been dope and has stayed, relatively that dope. I feel like Royce has pushed a little bit further than even people thought he could. And really done some brilliant conceptual stuff, some stuff that he's remained lyrical, but even done more than just be lyrical. He's done some amazing conceptual stuff. He's talked about some incredibly, relevant topics and created just some amazing music. So I think they both make great music in different ways. I think on stage, Lupe might have a slight edge in a head-to-head battle. Especially if it was a off the head battle. But I think on wax, I would give the edge to Royce, and just overall, cumulatively as an MC, right this minute, I'd have to say Royce has the edge, but it's definitely close.
So you don't think conceptually Lupe could do anything writing wise?
I think conceptually Lupe would do something amazing, but it might be so conceptually brilliant that it might not resonate the same way in a head-to-head battle. Like, he might do something crazy that nobody even realized he did, but if no one realized he did it, then it's like, did he do it? Like, he's like, Goku against the Ginyu Force. Like, he's moving so fast we can't see him moving at all. But it's like, we can't see him moving.